We're here today to talk about a brand, Humano, and I'm here with John Merkins. He's on Instagram as...
Hey, I'm JMerk35, JMEHRK 35.
Check him out. He knows a lot about tequila and mezcal. We're having a good time today. He brought these over. We got all four. We got Blanco, Repo, Anejo, even the Joven. And Blanco won a silver in the recent Agavos Awards, all right? So it's coming out of 1585 in the Senegal section of Jalisco, all right? And it's 40 ABV. So we're going to check them out, right, John? We'll do the Blanco first. What do you think? We're going to see, as you can see, they're pretty bottles, okay? They're pretty bottles. Now, you know, I have a saying for like 10 years now. It's 85% of tequila in pretty bottles is crap. So let's see if this makes the 15, right? That's the whole object here. We're going to hope it does, you know. It's additive-free, certified by TMM, but, you know, we were talking about that, right? You know, I don't know if Grover certified all four of these as additive-free or if they only, you know, sent in the Blanco or the Repo. That I don't know. So, you know, we'll do our best to tell you what we think, right?
So there's 7 brands coming out of 1585.
Nice. Okay.
None of them have been certified additive-free except for Humano.
For whichever one it was, if all of them, or we don't know, but that's a good sign, all right? Yeah. So, you know, we're starting with something pretty good, I guess, you know. You know, the way they make this is they use Los Altos agaves, and then they use a combination, right?
Of cooking methods.
So they use the brick oven, and then they use high-pressure autoclave. They do use roller maceration, stainless steel, closed fermentation. That's without fibers, and that's with proprietary yeast, right? Yep. We were talking about that. So, you know, the way I always look at it is, you know, closed fermentation, they don't want any chance of any bacteria or any kind of environmental funkiness coming in or anything like that. They want it the same all the time, right? All the batches. You know, you close that tank, it's all going to be, you know, they use their proprietary yeast and that's it. It's always going to taste the way it's going to taste. And I don't know if I like that. You know, a lot of the big brands, I believe, you know, like the Don Julio's and that kind of stuff, I believe they do closed fermentation, you know, so it's always like the same. They can guarantee it.
No variation.
You don't have to worry about what's coming in from the atmosphere, that kind of thing. So we got the Blanco here, and by the way, it was deep well water, double distilled in stainless steel with a copper coil. They say additive free. All right, salute, cheers, my friends, salute. And, okay, well, not horrible. I got cooked agave. I got some anise. Got like a fruity kind of thing going on.
Mineral, more tropical fruit.
Minerals for sure. Yeah. It is. It does. The minerals you can't miss. Maybe a pinch of smoke, right? Deep well water. So you're getting a lot of those minerals. A little smoky.
Yep.
You know, this is not weird. I like the mintiness or a little bit of that anise, just a little bit,
and
right?
A little bit of butter, it seems, too.
Yeah, buttery, maybe some baking spice.
Yeah.
But you're right, like a tropical fruit. This is not bad at all. Let's give this a shot. Well, I was a judge in the agave, so was John. And I did all Blancos, but I didn't get this one.
I didn't get this one.
Yeah, everyone got different stuff. I could see why people would rate this high.
Yeah.
I could see it's worthy of a silver at least. It's got a nice taste to it, right? Pleasant, soft.
Got some pepper, white pepper.
Definitely the pepper pops out in the taste more than the nose. There's no doubt about that.
Little brine too, I would say.
I don't find anything wrong with this. The ratings are kind of up and down, maybe even a little bit on the lower side than I thought they would be on the panel ratings for TMM. But I'm going to put it up there at an 83, 84 myself. I think it's worthy.
I would say 84. I'm in with an 84.
Yeah.
And not that I buy, nor do you, Lou, for the bottles.
Right, but
it's a nice bottle.
If you can get an 84 rating, you know, and when you get the bottle,
you're about mid-40s on this price point.
$47.99.
I've seen it for 40 to 47.
Yes, you can see it for less, but right now, Old Town Tequila does have this guy for $47.99. And it's, you know, John, for a pretty bottle,
right,
and silver, you know, winning in the agavos from people that knew what they were talking about, it's not a bad, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
I like I like the nose. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know if the other guys are going to match up for this, but I like this. Sweetness is there, for sure. I have no problem giving it an 83, 84.
It's good mouthfeel.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on to Reposado. And then we're going to do a treat where we're going to open them on camera for you. Only the Blanco was open. Okay. That's good. And you got yours?
Yep.
They are really, really pretty bottles. They really are. Look at these nice bottles. There's some information on the back. Yeah, I mean, you know what? 1585. I don't know much about 1585. It's got a nice, color.
Yeah.
This one is what? 4 months in new American white oak and bourbon barrels, and then they're blended. So you know what, John? That's why it's a little darker than a 4 month would normally be.
Yeah,
you agree?
Yeah, yes.
4 months is nothing.
No.
So when you see 4 months in used American white oak, it's light. If there's no additives,
right?
It's light. But this is darker because it's a new barrel, brand new barrel, and then it's blended with bourbon barrels. Yep. So I'm assuming the American white oak must have been like Jack Daniels or some kind of whiskey, and then they blended it with bourbon. That's all it says. A lot of caramel.
Big caramel.
Whoa. You know, I don't know. I don't know what else I really smell other than maybe a pinch of smoke.
I get a little honey.
The caramel with the honey, yeah, sure. Maybe a pinch of vanilla. There is something in there. It's almost like a, I don't know what the, nutmeg, like a light nutmeg or something like that, right?
A very light spice.
Light spice. So a little bit of that herbalness is there.
I'm not getting much.
Not much else, right? This is a lot of caramel. You know, I'm not a caramel guy myself. It doesn't mean there's additives in it.
It's definitely overpowering on the nose.
It is, but you know, John, again, if it's the brand new American white oak and it's blended with bourbon barrels, and we're assuming they're new also, that's the way it looked like in the literature.
Yep.
It could be why we're getting those strong herbal and spicy and caramel.
I get some oak on the nose, I would say, now that I dig in a little bit more.
Wow. It is not only really sweet, but it's really full of caramel. Don't you think? On taste, even more than the nose. You get the oak. I'm not getting much else than, like John said, butter, oak, and maybe caramel.
Caramel's
big time. So you know what? I don't know. I can't guarantee there's no additives in this. You know, I'd love to know if this was the one that they rated additive free, or if it was just the Blanco. Something like this, I'm dropping way down. I'm dropping way down to a 78. That's me. That's just me. Yeah. What do you think?
It's not.
It doesn't mean it's bad.
It doesn't mean it's bad. There's really not a lot of complexity to it. You can't really get past the caramel for me.
Right.
I don't even know if I get a
lot of caramel.
Yeah. Maybe
a lot of caramel.
Berry preserve or not even. It's caramel.
Listen, if you like, you know,
caramel. Price point on this.
That one's
55.
only $54.99.
Right. So you know, again, nice bottle. It is caramel dominant.
Right. Again, we don't know if they're all additive free, which one was or whatever. Definitely, I'm preferring this way over this right off the bat. So what do we got next, buddy? You want to do the?
I'm along with you. 79, maybe 80 if I do presentation.
Okay.
But I'm usually not big on the presentation. It's more about what's inside of it.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, we're looking at pretty bottles and we're looking at pretty decent prices.
Right.
So $54.99 with a kick-in bottle like that, that does kind of boost it. So I can see why you went 80, but I'm going to stick where I was.
79, 80.
Yeah, I'm going to stick where I was. So you want to go with Joven next?
Let's do the Joven.
The Joven's interesting. Now, this is a blend of Blanco, Repo, and Anejo, which is pretty cool. You know, they call it like a sipping tequila. You know, this is the one you might not want to mix in a drink, but, you know, you could do that as well. You could always do that if you want to. Yeah, they're just really, really beautiful bottles. These are nice bottles you'd love to have on your shelf. There's no doubt about it. Who wouldn't want these on his shelf, you know? Look at even the topper.
Look
at that topper you got there, buddy. Huh? Look at this. I mean, this is a solid, beautiful glass. And that's real glass. That's not plastic.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
That's glass. So they put some money into the bottle. There's no doubt about it, you know? They really did. Yeah, let's. So, I mean, I like Joven. You know, I've always liked Joven. You know, Joven is like the under the radar expression that people don't talk about enough because it had the bad connotation from the old days with the Jose Cuervo Gold and all that other crap. When it definitely Joven does not mean additives. It just means it's a Blanco that's been blended with some Repo Anejo or extra Anejo. Could be anything, right? So I like Joven. Joven's cool, but let's see how much I like it, right? There is not a lot there, considering there's Blanco, Repo, and Anejo in here. I mean, you know it's not a straight-up Blanco.
No.
That you know.
It's almost... I'm almost getting a nose of a Cristalino, which is really very
it's just
plain and
bland.
Bland,
right.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that, actually. Good.
Right?
Maybe citrus. It is kind of fragrant, so
Very
if you want to say maybe some floralness, but...
Yeah, more floral.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the Blanco had more of a punch to it.
Without a doubt.
Than the Joven did. And here you got a Joven that is Blanco, Repo, and Anejo. I don't know. I know they blended it. I'd like to know how much. My guess is not a lot of Anejo was blended in here. Not a lot of Repo was blended in here. But, you're ahead of me. What do you think? Now, this one goes for $74.99. This is interesting. This costs more than anything on the table.
Yep, yes.
So this is more than the Anejo. All right, maybe the work that went into it, blending everything,
Vanilla. Floral. Citrus.
Citrus, and you're right, there is some vanilla in there. Listen, I mean, it's nice. I'm not gonna do a dance over this.
Light spice, light pepper, maybe.
Spice is there for sure, definitely on the taste, earthiness and stuff like that. Maybe some citrus, but I would go higher than a Repo. The Repo didn't do it for me, so whatever I went, 78, 9, whatever it was, 79, 80. Okay, I'll say 80. I'll go 80 on the Joven. I would take this over the Repo. Personally, me. What do you think, buddy?
I'm with you on the 80.
Right, that's a good. It's not horrible.
It's not horrible,
but it's not like other Jovens I've had.
Right.
Which have more of the Repo, more of the Anejo. You kind of know something's going on. That it was a nice. This is
it's a little bit
bland.
Bland. Yeah. Not bad, but bland.
Exactly right. Yep, that's a good way of putting it. So, let's move on to the Anejo. Okay, so here it is, buddy. You want it? So this is interesting. I was looking at the ratings on TMM, right, John? And we were talking about it before. The Blanco was the highest rated, and then everything went from the panel. That's all I look at is the panel, which is interesting because, right, most of the time the Blanco gets a good rating if it's a good tequila, and then it even goes even higher usually because the barrel will cover any imperfections there might have been. It will even make it better.
Right.
And the guys usually like it at least as much as the Blanco or more. This one, it went the opposite. Isn't that weird?
It is. Keep in mind, though, these are new to the market, fairly new.
Yeah.
Right, within the last, 6 months or so?
I never heard of it.
So there's not a lot of panel
rating. I only noticed 2 or 3 guys that I knew.
There's only a few guys on it. So,
right.
Which, we still trust their palate.
We trust their palate, and I was surprised.
There's not a lot of ratings.
Right, no, there's not. There's definitely not.
To be fair on that.
Right, to be fair. This has got more of a gold.
What do we got on the aging on this?
Oh, yeah, so this one is 12 months, and they call it double-barreled, which, of course, is what the other one is as well. It's the American White Oak and Bourbon barrels. But 12 months, so it's an Anejo. It just makes the limit for Anejo. They went 1 year, and they pulled it. And this guy, it's not a really dark color, which is always a good sign, especially when we think it's the same new barrels that the Repo was made in, along with the bourbon barrels. It was a blend. So that's a good sign. It's not that dark. And I like the nose better than the Repo right off the bat.
Without a doubt.
You
get some caramel, but you get cooked agave, you get more
nuts,
apple.
Yeah. You got a little vanilla, but not much. You get the nuttiness. You get the I think maybe a little citrus.
Yeah. Yep.
The apple. Good point. I'm getting apple for sure. Yeah.
Apple, cinnamon.
Overall, it's light for an Anejo, but it's got a lot going on. There's nothing wrong with this. This is nice. I'm gonna go right ahead of the Joven right off the bat on nose and way over on the Repo right by the nose. So yeah, let's give it a taste. Again, that caramel, you can't deny it, but it's nothing like the Repo was.
Repo was overpowering.
Yeah, no, this is fine. This has got the
oakiness. I get a lot more.
It has less Repo.
I get a lot more complexity.
Than just caramel. Yeah. Right. I totally agree. It's definitely got the oak. It's got that pinch of vanilla. You know, maybe some cinnamon, maybe some
cinnamon. I get light barrel notes. It's not a lot of whiskey.
No.
Forward.
No.
But it's
got barrel notes,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But not whiskey-ish barrel notes, right? Yeah, no, something like this. I'm gonna be up now in the 86 range. That's what I'm gonna be. I might like this. I might like this the most of anything today. This and the Blanco.
Yeah.
This and the Blanco. This the least. This in the middle, right?
Right. Yeah.
It looks like we agree, buddy.
Probably 85 or so on that. And again, presentation is great.
And this one goes for what? This one goes for $64.99.
So,
come on,
$64.99
for an Anejo that might be editor free. We don't know.
Nice
we think
bottle,
so.
Nice presentation, good gift. Look, they're not. I don't think they're not terribly complex.
No,
they're not going to be for every aficionado out there, but for your average tequila drinker who wants a nice bottle on the shelf, I think they're nice.
Well, I agree with you, John, and I'm going to be honest with you now. So going back to my famous saying that 85% of tequila in pretty bottles is crap, I'm going to say this makes the 15%. Not by a lot, but this is a good enough tequila in a pretty bottle with a good price. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
You'd agree. So we got Lou Agave from Long Island Lou Tequila. We got John Merkins on Instagram. Check him out. And hey, salud.